Hello friends, welcome back to our new video. Today I will explain to Cage a killer movie, so watch and take care. The movie begins by a New Year Eve and the city of Baltimore is replete with the people partying in their apartments or just going about their business. Amidst this chaos, as soon as the round of fireworks goes out, 17 people are shot dead with a bullet flying out of nowhere. On the other side of the town, Eleanor Falco, played by the Shailene Woodley, a police officer, is trying to settle a major squabble at a dinner when she is paged to reach one of the sites of the shooting. She arrives at the site and police search stand that all the bullets have been fired from a certain 17th floor apartments in the neighborhood. It is at the precise moment of this discovery the apartment blow up, sending a shock wave of panic among the other residents in the building. All the police personnel immediately rush to the site of destruction. Eleanor, along with one of her colleagues, stands outside the building recording the videos of fleeing residents. There was a possibility that the culprit was in the crowd since the police and FBI reached the site and find no trace of the perpetrator. Eleanor, who had by this time climbed the stairs to the 17th floor without a gas mask while resting against one of the walls of the apartment due to ill health, manages to hint at investigating the toilet for any possible evidence of the shooter. Back at the bureau, the chief FBI investigator Geoffrey Lama, played by the Ben Mendelsohn, briefs the department about tasks that they have hand finding out the mass show and explain the things they need to keep in mind while carrying on the investigation. He particularly fancies Eleanor, who is prompt to tell him that the shooter is unlikely to strike again and why. We get an insight into the lonely life of Eleanor as she returns home that night. However, very early the next morning, she is summoned by Lamar. Six later insists that she assist him in his case because her thought process would be insightful and she could also serve as the link between the Baltimore Police Department and the FBI in this investigation. They meet Mackenzie, played by Jamin Adipo, another FBI agent who would be following them closely in finding the shooter. What follows is a lot of brainstorming among the three as they try to understand the possible motive of the attack or the reason why it took place. They also understand that the Lamarck is under huge duress from the FBI authorities to successfully find out the shooter, while the three are still trying to figure out who the killer is. An investigator had narrowed it down to a teenage boy who has confined himself to his room and watches ISIS videos. As their primary suspect, they proceed to zero down on him despite Lamarck's order. Unfortunately, the boy jumps out of his bedroom window and dies in the process. As the authorities press upon Lamarck to find the shooter, he invites Eleanor home and introduces her to his husband. He also confronts her about her FBI rejection, citing psychiatric issues such as depression as the reason. She confesses that she took up a job in the force to save her from her own self-destructive tendencies. A few days later, another horrific incident takes place in a shopping mall. A man is even stealing the clothes of a guy from a male changing room and washing it clean in the sink area. Another man spots him in the act and informs the male security guards about the unaccepted behavior, who try to trace the stranger down when they finally find him. He's stealing food at the food court. His guards try to ask him to leave. The man pulled out a gun and shot the people around him dead. He escapes from the rest of the police force who are after him by blowing them up with the grenades planted in a nearby dustbin. Mark and Eleanor reach place shortly after and are horrified by unknown challenge of the man. The news spread like wildfire. The FBI takes a group of local NRA members who support the gun violence in another attempt at finding the perpetrator. In the course of the investigation, the Lamarck and Eleanor come to believe that the shooter has access to all guns and military equipment, and the lab stool result shows that the man who was planted base died in the race. Following to New Year's Eve, however, the authorities lost confidence in Lamarck and his team. After the second attempt, crack down and remove them from investigation case any further. Subsequently, a realization strikes Eleanor, which leads her to the culprit and devastating face off with him in the end. While following up with their potential lead despite being suspended, Eleanor and Lamarck visit Dean Posey's mother's, Miss Posey, at her house. She follows Miss Posey inside the house when she tells them her son has not visited her in a long time and gathers in her drawing room. The farmers talk about her son, his head injury, mental illness, and his subsequent inability to join the army. Eleanor comes to realize that the dean is hiding in the outhouse and has both her and Lamarck at gunpoint. When she tries to caution Lamarck about the same, he reaches for his gun and is immediately shot at by Dean Posey. In the end, Eleanor negotiates with the FBI to honor Lamarck with a posthumous Medal of Valor and transfer all his pension money to his husband. Throughout the whole movie, the detectives of the work come to identify the primary traits of this man: a white guy, not a meat eater, and someone who access to old military weapons, Luckily, one of the men who wanted the apartment that originally blew up provided a special sketch of Bossy and directed them to search a meat factory around where he was previously employed. They find out about him from the older employees at a slaughterhouse and learn that Dean is believed to have killed one of his superiors, who was also a bully to him. This led to his imprisonment for 2 years before he was released on parole in December 19. Bossy's father, Sergeant Arthur Bossy, was the shooting instructor of the 75th Rangers, and Dean's parole being supported by letters written by two of his father's army friends, Eleanor and Lamar. Tried to dig deeper into his past only to understand that he had no credit cards in his name, no home address, and no social security, rendering him qualities of force in days. After arriving in his boss's house, she briefs him about how he was injured in the head by 2 bullets during childhood and how he started despising the world around him as he grew up and became extremely introverted, so much that he was overjoyed when everyone was locked up at home during court. Later, in an act of confrontation with Eleanor, confesses to him crime. Dean mentions that he never received enough fear or attention from anyone and expresses no remorse from having conducted 2 months of murder. At Miss Boss's house, Eleanor sports a tea and flannel shirt hanging from the door, ultimately realizing that Dean Bossy may be hiding in the out while they cannot contact the force by any means. Someone from the neighborhood possibly report to police about the gunshot, one that Dean used to kill Lamar and another that Miss Bossy fires into her brains. When he starts attacking the police patrol who came to check on the house, he gets found. When conversing with Eleanor, Dean Bossy confesses that it made sense for him to shoot 200 people because human beings made a lot of noise. Appreciating the fireworks these days years after year, Dean wishes for there to be fewer lights so that one can see the stars. He appeared to be generally angry at the world, at capitalist and fuel systems that prevail in the society. From working 12+ hours shift to be recognized in the country to killing cows and making burgers. Moreover, he felt observed all the time, constantly needing to be recognized, earn money to survive in the world. He does not seem to have an iota remorse. When he says we could not find peace in the world, he could at least deliver the retribution. Dean also denied feeling like love would save him because he had already traversed too far the road of unhappiness and crimes. It is likely that Dean Bossy was suffering from a chronic mental illness which led him commit these crimes in the cold blood. It is likely that Dean Bossy finds Eleanor empathetic towards big mental health and attitude and deciding to clear her life. Eleanor follow near her regularly, said me, and by conversing with the Dean, instead she tells him that she understands his feeling about the corners and pointlessness of the world. One of the reasons why she was on vacation in the first place, she voiced his thoughts, suggesting that it was only love that could help them mend the broken bridges. Dean agrees to the suggestion but says that it is too late for him to avail of that option now.